Action.
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 We've made like basically 0 to none progress.
They should not question my ideas, even though they're crazy.
Iker, such a bad actor. I don't even know why he's here.
Elmer needs to fucking do something.
I don't know if there's a lot that could come out of it unless there's a change in this. So, we'll see until then.
I'm actually kind of sick of recording at this point. Why does my mid part look different every episode? Okay, where do I start? Welcome back. My name is Ethan Wynn and you're watching Dead Cat Productions. This is now episode 4. So where did we leave off? Oh right, December. We just finished writing the script and creating the shot list. And now we were moving on to the production stage. Because if you didn't already know, a film production has 3 main stages: pre-production, production, and post-production. Pre-production mostly consists of creating and developing the story, writing the script, and creating the shot list. Oh, and also creating the storyboard. Well, we didn't do that during pre-production. And so we finished 3 out of those 4 things by December, and now we were moving on to the production stage. And the pre-production stage is the longest one, but the production stage is the most stressful. Especially if you're the producer, it's definitely the most stressful. So what did we have to do? First, we had to secure the locations, which was planned to be at the school. We had different ideas of where the locations could be. One of the earlier ideas took place in an apartment, which me and Vaughn talked over in the last episode. But we didn't go with that because one, the storyline was confusing as hell. Vaughn, I still don't fully understand what you were going with that storyline, but we're past that anyways. And second off, we didn't do that because filming in an apartment would have just been way too complicated and way too difficult. So our film location was at school, and for one scene, which is scene 2, it was filmed at my house. Well, it could have been anybody's house, but we just picked my house because the layout just fit what the scene needed. So, yeah, it was those 2 main locations, and specifically, it was the library. Now, for the school library, the rules are you can't stay past 3:20, I think it's 3:20. No students are allowed in the school library, so I had to figure out how we could shoot there. And we actually had the library in mind the whole time during the writing process, but I forgot to ever email the librarian about if we can even shoot there. And because I was busy with other things, I wasn't really thinking about it like days before the production. And Brian just told me like 3 days before we started filming, he was like, "Have you asked the librarian if we could even shoot at the library?" And I was like, "Shit, I haven't. I forgot to do that." And so I had to email the librarian the next day. So the next morning I emailed her. I was like, "Hey, I'm creating a student film and I was wondering if I'd be able to shoot in the library in a couple days." And she was like, "Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem as long as there aren't too many people." And then I got worried because I was like, "Oh shit, how many people were in my crew again?" And then I replied, I was like, "There's around 17 people in my team. I hope that isn't a problem." And I was hoping that wasn't gonna freak her out, and luckily it didn't, because she replied and she was like, "Yeah, that's okay, just make sure you guys clean up afterwards and you don't let anyone else in, and also turn off all the lights and lock the doors once you leave." And I was like, "Okay, that's no problem, we can do that." I need chapstick. Jesus Christ. So we got the library, and the library is used for like 3 out of 6 of our scenes, so if that didn't go well, I don't know what the hell we would have done, but luckily it went fine. Next thing I needed to do was to get all the equipment. Luckily, I didn't have to worry about that too much because my cinematographer, Brian, took care of it because I assigned that to him. I just had to worry about getting the minor stuff, like the reflectors and the props, and that was it really. But for the camera equipment, we used a Canon C100. It's the one that they use at the CTC in video production. It's a great camera. It's amazing quality. Ironically, I don't really know shit about video cameras. I'm recording this with an iPhone, so it's like I don't really know. I know this thing sucks at video. To be fair, I didn't buy it for video. It's not a video camera. It's a Canon EOS Rebel T6, and I tried vlogging with it months ago, but it's terrible. Don't buy this for video. The battery life for recording video is like 10 minutes max. The video quality is not that good. It doesn't record 4K or 120 FPS. It can go 60 FPS, but only for 720p. Didn't I just say I don't know shit about cameras? Well, I kind of do. I know how bad this one is for video. The screen you can't fold out. It's built in there, so if you were vlogging with this, you'd have no idea what you look like. It's not good at all in low light. The depth of field isn't that great either. You can't go lower than I think like 3.5 or something, or 4.5 maybe. Haven't used it for video in a long time, I forgot. But what was I talking about? Right, the C100, Canon C100. Amazing camera, amazing for video. Would I buy it for myself? No, partly because I don't do that much video work, and if I do, I'd probably borrow a camera from someone else or just rent it out or something like that. Also, hauling $2,000-$3,000 cameras during a production set is pretty terrifying. But yeah, we got those cameras from the CTC, the Career and Technical Center. It's a school that teaches technical skills. Their video production class is very free range. Most of the time, our video teacher just hands us the equipment and just says, go do something. Like, he'll literally just hand us some cameras and be like, go wild, and we can just walk around this whole school. It was great. I don't know how many times I grabbed a camera and just went out to get food or something. But anyways, I keep getting off topic. I gotta stop getting off topic. So yeah, we borrowed the cameras and tripods from the CTC. We borrowed the Rode mic and the lights from the Bowie video teacher, Mr. McGinty. We also borrowed the reflectors from my photography teacher. So after we got the equipment unlocked, the next thing we needed was actors. And I didn't want to just grab anybody and throw them in front of a camera and say, alright, act this part. So who do I go to find specialized people in this role that take acting seriously and are passionate about it? And well, since we're not a film school, and we're not an acting school, and we can't pay people because we don't have money for that, the best option was theater arts. And if you've been online, you probably know how people feel about theater arts kids. And while there is some truth in that, it is kind of mostly just stereotypes. Now, the way theater kids are usually depicted on social media is like loud personality, a little cringy, and a complete disregard of peaceful silence. But after working with them and experiencing what they're like firsthand, I came to realize that only 2 of those things were true. I'm kidding. Theater kids are actually pretty chill and they're pretty fun to work with most of the time. Plus, I was a theater kid myself for 3 years, so I actually know. Except I wasn't like a theater kid like really serious about acting or gave a shit about acting. I was kind of just kid that was in theater because you kind of have to be to get your fine arts credit. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Yeah, we needed actors, and so I talked to the theater arts teacher. I asked her if she knew any students that would be interested in this project and if they would be available on A days from 3 to 4 p.m. I also handed her a couple copies of the script to hand to her students to see if anybody would be interested in it. And a couple days later, I came by to ask if anyone was interested, and she said there were a few people. And I said, great, just tell them to come to my meeting that I'll be having in a couple days. And when they came to the meeting, there were actually a couple people who wanted the same role. So for the first time, we had to audition people to figure out who would be best fit, which has never happened before. Usually I'll just have one person in mind for a role, and if they decline, then I'll just find somebody else. But since 2 people wanted the same role, we had to host some auditions. And so we held auditions. Vaughn was the one in charge of that. They weren't like actual live auditions because we didn't have time for that. So we just asked them to record themselves saying a couple lines and then send it to us. And then here's what me and Vaughn had to say about it. All right, Vaughn, welcome back. You're now currently in episode 4 of Dead Cat Productions.
All right, bet.
So let's talk about when you were casting. Who did you envision to be playing the role of Vicky and Brandon and all that?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I think everybody in the group was envisioning Adrian to play Adrian.
Back, bro. Adrian,
Right.
We keep saying this, but Adrian he would have been that guy. He would have been like, because he kind of just has like that A-list celebrity like hero.
Right,
model
yeah.
Look, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he looks like an actor. You know what I mean?
He looks like the main guy. We're all just the side characters in his story.
Right, yeah, But
I thought you were gonna continue.
oh yeah, for the rest of everybody, I try not to write with somebody in mind. I wanted to, at first, I thought we were gonna do these auditions, but we didn't have time to do that. We didn't finish it
on like the last day before filming started.
Right, yeah, so I thought we were gonna have these auditions where, people come up, have a part from the script and kind of do their own interpretation. Because again, with the script, I didn't really write in any emotions. I wanted to see what the actors were gonna do, so you can make the characters your own. And I feel like
their own interpretation.
Right, and I felt like that would be good for mystery. If it was a drama, you have to put in the emotion and everything. If it's a thriller, you don't always have to. The actors know what they're getting into, but they're still gonna give their own, reactions. I felt like that's what would work best with the film. So I wanted to see which one we felt would add to the film the most. Which one was related to the film the most.
And for our 2 picks, for Vicky, we had Allie and Alyssa. So what was your first thoughts on Allie's performance in her audition?
Well, at first, I really liked her. I really liked her take on it. At first, I was looking at it like, this is really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was really the way that she inflected with her voice when she was auditioning. It wasn't automatic yell and everything. It was more where you're going up and down, and I felt like that would work with bipolar. Her volume was coming in, it was receding at different, not necessarily at the same decibel level, for lack of a better word. Right, but then
it's more like a scared, nervous kind of pain in her voice.
Right, yeah.
Like she's keeping
but
something
then, right. But then you look at Alyssa's, and I was like, this is probably what's gonna work best with the short film, because that was a voiceover, and when you're just focused on the aggression, you're given the aggression to focus on. It's something that draws the audience to hear that voice, because it was, again, it was supposed to be muffled and everything. It was a voiceover. So the audience, you want the audience to hear it, but at the same time, you don't want them to necessarily pay all the attention to it. Yeah. So if you have the yelling,
you just notice the aggression.
Right, yeah, and you're not really hearing the turmoil that's going on the inside, Or you hear the turmoil, but you don't hear the conflict of the turmoil. Right.
You could just get the idea of what's going on, but you don't actually understand fully what's happening.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so we went with Alyssa. And for Brandon, we had a couple auditions, right? We had
right, yeah.
Zebediah. Well, Zebediah didn't audition, did he?
Zebediah no, he didn't audition. I don't think he auditioned.
Right. But we had Sebastian audition.
Right, Sebastian auditioned. And then Zeb didn't send in the video audition. I think he auditioned in front of us, or in front of one of us. I don't remember. I know Sebastian sent in a video to me on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought Zeb's take would be better for the character, better suited for the character. You know, where he's sort of he looks intimidating, but he's not necessarily an intimidating person. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Plus, he's kind of more soft-spoken, especially in the film.
Right. Yeah. Which was something we had an issue with, but you know, we had an issue with it. we had to change one of the lines.
What did you feel about like the final days before we started filming? Like, how did you feel about the script and everything building up to that?
Well, I was interested in seeing how everything would go on the first day of production, which I missed because college visit. But you know,
Yeah,
I was interested in seeing how it will work out. I want to see how everybody would take to their parts, and I want to be able to work with the actors and the actresses, you know, to see what was going to go on. Not see what was going to go on, but see what we could change to make it seem more realistic, you know, because realism is a part. Realism gives movies a grounded feel, and that's kind of what we're going for. You could go with an exaggerated feel and everything, but that feels overly dramatic, you know, or overly produced. We were kind of trying to make this seem like something that could actually happen. I mean, it is something that could actually happen, you know.
right. It was good talking to you, bro. I'll see you again another time.
Oh yeah, man, it's no problem, bro. No problem. All right.
Later. So now we had the locations, the equipment, and the actors, and that should be mostly everything. Except I forgot something again, and this time it was the makeup artist. Because the film involves a girl that has a bruise on her eye, and so we needed a makeup artist to create that bruise. And I forgot this up until 2 days before we started filming, because once again Brian had to remind my dumbass. He was like, hey, don't we need a makeup artist? And I was like, we do. And when we were writing in this bruise, I already thought about how I was gonna get the makeup artist, and I was probably gonna talk to someone from cosmetology at the CTC, and so that's what I did. So when Brian reminded me that we needed a makeup artist, I ran my ass down to the CTC's cosmetology department, or whatever it is, and I just looked for anybody who would be willing to help us in the last minute. And the first person I saw was an old friend of mine, Jessica, who was in cosmetology, and I asked her if she would be available after school on A-days, and she said no. So I asked one of the cosmetology teachers if she had anybody, and she didn't. But she said to go to the other cosmetology teacher and ask her if she had anybody, and so I did. And luckily she did have someone that was both from Bowie and was available on A-days from 3 to 4. So I got her contact info, told her about our next meeting, and now Sarah Olvera was Dead Cat Productions makeup artist. I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Sarai Olvera, but she just told me to say it like Sarah, so whatever. Also, I forgot to mention that at some point Brian told me that he had 2 guys who could help us out with the team, and I said anybody who was willing to help during our filming process would be great. And so those 2 guys was our grip, Yui, and our boom operator, Apollo. And if you don't know what those roles are, a grip is a person who helps with the lighting equipment and sets up the lights, and a boom operator is someone who operates the boom mic, which is used to record vocal audio in a scene without having the mic be in the shot. Now, after I got the makeup artist, I was planning to conduct a team meeting the next day. And so I told everyone in the team that we were going to have a meeting and I was going to talk things over about what we're doing and how it's going to work. And I remember during that day I was in my statistics class and I wasn't paying attention to anything that was happening because I was too busy creating the PowerPoint for that meeting. And that's significant because this exact point is kind of when my hobby started to develop as an obsession, and I started to value that project over everything else, including my academics. But at that point it wasn't that bad because missing one class period of statistics wasn't that big of a deal, because usually we were just spending the time going over homework problems, and statistics was really the easiest class, to be honest. But missing out on that one class period ended up developing into something way worse, which I'll get into in the next time. But for now, I was just working on the presentation, and then after school from 3 to 4, I held that meeting, with all the crew and cast members. And I wish I could show you some footage of it, but there wasn't any. Gio wasn't documenting any of it, and to be fair, I didn't tell him to, so that's not his fault. And the only clip I have is this one that Julian took. He's going to be doing behind the scenes footage, like I said before. You can say whatever, you can voice your opinion about the production, about how you feel about it. It's just a fun, which looks like shit because of his damn Android. Which, you know, I don't want to make fun of Android phones because they're not that bad actually, but every time I get sent a video or a photo from an Android phone, it just ends up always looking like that. Like, I swear to God. Same thing for the audition videos that Vaughn sent me. It looks like there's only 5 pixels on the damn screen. Anyways, yeah, I held that meeting. I told him what the roles were, what the filming schedule was going to be like, and where the locations were in each scene, and I basically went over everything that we were going to do for the next month. Interestingly, I never even once mentioned the plot, which I feel like that's something you should definitely go over with your team, but I just was so caught up in everything else that I forgot to even tell him what the story was about. But yeah, everything up to that point was leading to the production. And we finally had all the loose ends tied. We had everything prepared for the filmmaking process. The story was, for the most part, finished. We actually weren't sure about the ending even when we started filming. We were kind of iffy on it. We didn't really like it. And we were just like, you know what? We got to start filming anyway, so we'll just film the ending last. And hopefully by that point, we'll have something figured out. But yeah, everything was ready. Everything was in place. We got the location, we got the equipment, the makeup artists, we got our actors, who I haven't even mentioned yet. Zebediah Cardiel, who plays Brandon, Alyssa Sanchez for the role of Vicky, Ali Berry for Diane, and Iker Sanchez for Gerald. You know, those character names don't even really matter because I don't think they were mentioned even once in the film, except maybe Vicky, I think. Gerald was never said, Brandon was never said, and Diane was never said. So they could be named anything, it wouldn't make a difference. But yeah, like I was saying, we had the actors, we had our makeup artists, we had the filming schedule, and now we were ready to finally film. And the first day we filmed was on January 24th of 2020. And the experience was both amazing and extremely terrifying.